Hey guys, welcome back to another Valentine's Day video. I hope you all had an amazing Valentine's Day, whether you spent it with your girls, your partner, or just practicing some much needed self-love. However you celebrated, I hope you had a joyful one. This was my inspiration picture, and this is what I decided to do for my Valentine's Day nails. I think they turned out so cute and I'll probably keep them on for the rest of the week. So let's get right into the tutorial. Today's video is like a regular Gel X prep tutorial, unlike my usual peel off base videos. So if you're looking for a long-lasting set, this one is for you. I'm starting by trimming my natural nails so that none of it is exposed underneath my extension. And then I'm filing the free edge to smooth everything out so that there's no sharp corners. I'm using a glass hand file for this because it's a lot more gentle on my natural nails than using a regular hand file, but honestly you can use whatever you have, it'll work just fine. Next, I'm going in with some cuticle serum. This one is from Sally Hansen, and we're basically going to do some wet cuticle prep. I let the serum sit for about 10 seconds before going in with a metal cuticle pusher to gently push everything back. You'll see the cuticle area start to turn white, and that's all the dead skin buildup lifting from the nail plate. I just continue pushing and lightly scraping away as much buildup as I can. This next step is optional, but I like to carefully nip the dead cuticle to give everything a cleaner, more polished look. Again, you absolutely do not have to do this, but if you do, only remove what's actually dead skin. Next, I'm going to lightly buff my natural nails using a buffing block. I'm using this cute little heart-shaped one. It's so adorable and perfect for Valentine's Day. I'm gently buffing the entire surface of my nail, making sure to remove all the shine from the nail plate. The goal here is just to create a matte surface so that the gel adheres better. You could also use a sanding band to speed this step up, but since I do my nails so frequently, I just like to use a small buffing block. It just feels a little bit more gentle and controlled. Now for the tips, I'm using these sculpted almond tips from Apres. I believe this is the long shape. I love these tips because they're great for nails with a C curve, but they also work really well on flatter nail beds as well, if you want to go for that sculpted look. I'm going to size each tip, making sure that it fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. You don't want the tip to be too tight where it feels like it's pinching your nails, but you also don't want it to be too loose. If it's too small, it's going to cause lifting or discomfort, and if it's too big, the gel can overflow onto your skin and cuticles, and we definitely don't want either. So just take your time and find your perfect size and find what fits best for you on each finger. I'm not doing an overlay today, I'm just going to do a standard Gel X application. That means that the extension is going to sit all the way up against the cuticle area with no visible gap. And once I've found all my sizes, I'm going to set them aside and lightly etch the inside of my extensions using a sanding band. This helps the gel adhere better and ensures everything will last as long as possible. It doesn't really matter which grit you use to etch your nails, as long as you're creating enough texture for the gel to grip onto. Just make sure you're getting into every corner of the tip. I like using these mini sanding bands because they fit better inside the smaller nail tips and it makes it easier to reach those tighter areas. I really focus on covering the entire backside of my extension. It just makes a huge difference in retention. I've skipped etching this before and my extensions would pop off way sooner than it should have. So definitely take your time and make sure you don't miss any spots. Once that's done, I'm going to go in with my protein vitamin prep, which is a dehydrator. I just brush a layer onto all of my nails and let it fully evaporate. This removes any oils or debris and ensures that the nail plate is completely clean before moving on. Next, I'm using Young Nails Protein Bond. This is honestly the best primer I've ever tried. I apply one coat to each nail. You'll see me dipping back into the bottle between nails to make sure that each one gets an even amount of product. If you tend to struggle with lifting, the brand does recommend applying 2 coats of this, so that's totally optional. I like to let the primer dry for at least 3 minutes before moving on. For my adhesive, I'm going to use the Diami Strong Nail Base and Balancing Clear Gel. It works as both an overlay gel and a gel glue, but I personally love to use it as a Gel-X adhesive. It has a shorter brush, which makes it also really easy to work the product into your nail and kind of scrub it in. And it just gets into all those little crevices for better adhesion. So I'm going to apply a thin layer of this gel to each nail, working from the cuticle all the way down to the tip and into the sidewalls. Of course, be careful not to get any gel on your skin, and if you do, make sure that you wipe it off with acetone before curing. You never want to cure gel on your skin. Normally, this is where I'd go in with the Jello Peel Off Base Coat instead, and that's what I use for my removable sets. But since I'm not doing a peel off set today, this is what I'm going to use on my natural nails instead. Once everything is applied evenly, I'll fully cure it for 60 seconds. Now that my base layer is down, I'm going to apply the gel glue to the backside of each extension. I like to add a little extra bead of gel right here near the cuticle, a little more than I think I would need because these are sculpted tips. And then I applied the extensions on at about a 45-degree angle, slowly pressing it down and watching the gel flow towards the free edge. And once I see that the gel fully spread with no air bubbles, that's when I'll flash cure it. I repeat this process on each nail. I usually flash cure for about 15 seconds under my mini lamp, and then once they're all on, I fully cure everything in my main lamp for 90 seconds just to make sure that the gel glue is completely set. I like to give it a slightly longer cure time, especially since I'm using sculpted nail tips. These sculpted nail tips typically require a little bit more gel than standard nail tips, so that extra cure just gives me a little bit more peace of mind. And for sculpted tips, 90 seconds is just usually perfect for me. Before getting into the nail art, I'm going to apply a layer of top coat to the underside of my extensions. This step is optional, but I like to do it because it just helps the tips look clean and clear underneath. And after I do that, I'm just going to cure it for 60 seconds as well. Next, I'm going to thin out the cuticle area using a small sanding band. This is a 240 grit sanding band. It's very soft and not too gritty. The extensions I'm using already has a super thin cuticle area, so I don't need to do much. I'm just kind of blending it in a little bit and making everything look a little bit more seamless. I'm also using this step to etch the entire surface of my extensions. I'm mainly focusing on removing the shine around the edges, especially at the very tip of my nail. Those areas are more prone to peeling, so as long as I get into those corners and edges, the chances of the product lifting are much lower. Again, you can use a buffing block for this, or you could just use your sanding band to speed things up. After I finish doing all of my nails, I lightly file the edges to remove the sharpness that usually comes with those extensions, and I'll just kind of refine the shape to my preference. I don't like my nails to be too sharp, so rounding them out is like my personal comfort zone. Then I'm going to take a small amount of acetone on an oval brush and lightly melt the extension into my natural nail. You don't need to overload your brush with it, just a small controlled amount is enough. And this will just create a more seamless blend at the cuticle area. If you did it right, you should not be able to tell where your extension starts. After that, I wipe all of my nails with rubbing alcohol to remove any dust before going in with the color. For the base color, I'm using How Do You Neutral from D&D. It's a little lighter than the shade in the inspiration picture, but I really love this tone, so I decided to go with it. I'm applying 4 thin coats because I really want this color to be a little bit more on the opaque side. It is just naturally very sheer. And I'll cure my nails for 60 seconds in between each coat. Now here's a look at the Valentine's Day collection from Madame Glam. I'm just going to open each bottle so you guys can see the shades up close really quickly. They are seriously so gorgeous. I have all the shade names listed on the left side of the screen for you guys. They were kind enough to send me their Valentine's Day collection, and I was so excited because you already know I love Valentine's Day. I am a Pisces after all, so the colors are just so pretty and unique. I think my favorite might have to be Rose Glow because that shade is stunning. I've never had a gel polish like that before. For the French design, I'm using Valentino Beauty Pure White Gel Polish. I'm putting a little bit onto my palette, and with a 12mm liner brush, I'm saturating the brush and then wiping off the excess before starting. To create my French, I like to first draw a line where I want the smile line to begin. Then I paint along the side walls in a slight V shape, and then I connect those lines together. That method usually gives me a really clean, even French tip. This one is more of a rounded, classic French because I want to leave room for the plaid design I'll be adding later. And once I outline the shape, I'll fill it in using the brush from the bottle and then go back in with my liner brush to perfect and redefine the edges. I did this same French design on both my thumb and my ring finger. For the other design, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it's kind of like that open bubble outline look. I started by tracing the outer border of my nail with the white gel polish, and then I cured it for 60 seconds because I knew if I might make a mistake, it would be a lot easier to clean up without ruining the shape. Then after curing, I added 2 lines parallel to each other, like you can see here, and then just rounded out those shapes and create those like soft bubble sections. It's a little hard to explain in words, but you can definitely see what I'm doing on camera. And once I was happy with that outline, I just went ahead and filled in the remaining areas with the white gel polish. This part is a little bit tedious, but the key is to really just load your brush with the white gel polish and kind of drag it around those edges. Just apply it freely and evenly, and then go ahead and fully cure for another 60 seconds. Next, I'm going to apply a matte top coat to all of my nails except for my index finger. I didn't really record this part, but make sure you do that for every finger except the index, and cure that for 30 seconds. Now for the fun part, I'm going to go in with a pink eyeshadow pigment. This is basically just an old eyeshadow palette I like to use for my nails now. And using a disposable sponge applicator, I'm just going to tap off the excess pigment first. I focus on packing the pigment in the center, and then I flip the sponge over to the clean side and use that to gently diffuse the outer edges. That's what gives it that soft airbrush look without actually the use of an airbrush. And I'll just repeat that same process on both French nails. With whatever pigment I have left over, I apply it to my middle finger as well, but I make this aura larger so it takes up more of my nail. Same technique, circular motions in the center, then softly blending out the edges. And once I'm happy with the blend, I'll cure everything again for 30 seconds to finish the cure. Because I have to do line work, I'm going in with a glossy top coat to protect the aura design. This step is really important if you need to wipe away any mistakes from your line work and you don't want to disturb the aura design underneath. This protective layer basically makes cleanups so much easier. So I'm just going to use this one from Koopa, and I cure that fully for 60 seconds. Now for the detail work, I'm going to use these 3 gel polishes from Madame Glam, their Valentine's Day collection, in the shades Crush Hour, Midnight Wine, and Burning Love. I place a small amount of each onto my palette, and I'm going to go back in with my 12mm liner brush. I actually trimmed a lot of the bristles off of this brush to make it ultra thin for super precise lines. The other end of this brush is a dotting tool, which is perfect for what I'm about to do. And using the gel polish Burning Love, I place 2 small dots near the shape of the circle, and then I drag the polish downwards into a heart shape, connecting the 2 dots and slightly overlapping the white area. And I created 2 hearts this way and cured them for about 60 seconds. Super easy, nothing too complicated, and they looked so cute. At that point, my index finger was basically done. So now I'm taking Crush Hour, the pink shade, with a 20mm liner brush and started painting my plaid design. For the plaid design, I actually used a combination of the 20mm liner brush and my super duper thin ultra detail brush. Like I mentioned earlier, I trimmed a lot of the bristles off of this brush so I can make really skinny lines. So using both brushes just gives me more control depending on the thickness of the line I'm trying to create. I started with Crush Hour to map out the plaid, just like you see on the screen. I'll also have a photo of the design so you guys can follow along more easily. And once I finished the pink lines, I cured that layer before moving on to the next color. So then I went in with Midnight Wine and added the darker red stripes. Again, I switched between my 20mm liner brush and my ultra thin brush depending on the line thickness I needed. Just make sure that you're curing in between colors. So if you start with the pink, cure it fully before going in with the red, and that prevents the colors from smudging or blending together, and it keeps your line work looking really clean and sharp. Next, I used a forest green shade to paint the stems for my little cherry design. I do wish I used a lighter green. This one was a little bit darker than I wanted, but it still worked in the end. Using my 12mm liner brush, I painted 2 small curved stems and added a tiny leaf at the end. After curing the green gel polish for 60 seconds, I applied a matte top coat over that nail and cured it again for another 60 seconds. Once that was done, I lightly buffed the nail with a buffing block. This is just to make sure that the chrome doesn't stick to it. A very light buff is all you need, and I did this on both my middle finger and my pinky nail. Now for the 3D details, I mixed a small amount of black gel polish with a glossy top coat, about equal parts. You don't need much black gel polish at all. I did the same kind of mixture with rhinestone gel as well, since I knew I'd be creating these like raised 3D details. And on my pinky nail, I painted a simple black French tip using that black and top coat mixture and flash cured it for 15 seconds. Then I went in with the rhinestone gel and black polish mixture to create my 3D line work over top. So after I created those 3D lines, I cured again for another 15 seconds. And for the 3D cherries, I used a 3D sculpting gel and rolled it into 2 equal-sized portions. I placed them onto my nail and gently pressed them down to secure them, and then I started shaping the edges into a tiny heart shape. I was recreating those very tiny heart-shaped cherries from the inspiration picture, and after shaping the bottoms into a V, I slightly indented the tops where the stems connect to really define the heart shape. And once I was happy with that shape, I just cured the cherries for 30 seconds. Then I went ahead and applied the chrome powder over both the cherries and my French nail. However, I did end up wiping the chrome off of the cherry hearts because they looked lighter than the chrome on my pinky. Since there wasn't a black base underneath the cherries, the chrome just didn't pop the same way. So I added a thin layer of that black gel mixture over the cherries and reapplied the chrome, and that fixed everything. I was honestly so happy with how they turned out. I think they looked super cute. For the top coat, I'm going to use 2 different ones, which I normally do anytime I use chrome. On the nails without chrome, I'm using my favorite top coat, which is the Glassy Top Gel from Mayo. I don't like risking getting tiny chrome specks into my favorite top coats, so I keep it strictly for the non-chrome nails. For the nails with chrome, I use a separate top coat that I keep on hand just for like the chrome designs. That way I don't contaminate anything. And I cure everything for about 90 seconds to make sure everything is fully sealed. Now to finish the look, I'm applying cuticle oil to rehydrate my nails and the surrounding skin. I'm using the rose cuticle oil from Blossom. It smells exactly like fresh roses, and I love using it after I finish my sets. And here are the finished nails. I'm honestly obsessed with how they turned out. They are so cute. If you're not into basic Valentine's Day nails, I feel like this design is a little bit more fun and eye-catching. I love the plaid and the bubble details and the chrome, and those little heart cherries are just so adorable. But yeah, these are my Valentine's Day nails / birthday nails. Let me know what you think in the comments and if you tried this design for February. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.